Hey, what's going on? Welcome, everybody. This is the Pre-Chiro podcast. My name is Dr. Ben, your host. And tonight I have Charles. I want to just give some appreciation to Charles for taking the time. It's 10 o'clock at night over there. It's a busy schedule that you keep for yourself, brother, but thank you for sharing some time. So can you just get right into it and let us know a little bit about who you are and what you were up to before you decided to go to chiropractic school?
Okay, yeah. So like you said before, I'm Charles Tucker. I'm originally from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Been in South Carolina all my life. So before chiropractic school, I actually went to USC, University of South Carolina, for athletic training. Athletic training didn't go the way it's planned as I thought it would. So I was like, I gotta do something. So then I actually went to massage therapy school right after that. And when I finished massage therapy school, I actually got hired at a chiropractic office. Before going there, I told everybody like, hey, I'm a massage therapist and I'm actually going back to school for PT. And all the chiropractors were like, no, you're not. You're going to go to school for chiropractic. So they taught me a lot about chiropractic, showed me x-rays, got to see people who came in limping, came back and was walking correctly, and just kind of seeing those miracles in that office just kind of drew me to chiropractic. And then here I am, finished with school. So it started as a dream, started, thinking about going to chiropractic school. Now I finished and now it's time to work.
That's what's up. And you make it seem as though it was very sort of smooth in the sense that you just went to this chiropractic office and you saw things happening that you were inspired by. But in reality, it sounds like you had an education in athletic training that didn't go the right way, and you adapted by picking up a new set of skills as a massage therapist. Can you talk a little bit about that adaptability that you had back then and what that extra something was that got you to think, oh, maybe this is something I need to pivot towards?
That extra something was just my drive to help people. I knew I wanted to help people in some capacity, but for me, I just didn't know what that was. And I just feel like having those opportunities, meeting those people, just kind of drew me to chiropractic and showed me like this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm glad that I had that opportunity as well.
No doubt. So can you speak a little bit about that transition into school? How was that experience for you?
Oh man, it was hard, especially being out of school for so long. I worked at that chiropractic office for 4 years, and just the idea of in the work field, and you're like, "Ooh, this is comfortable." I'm making money, but at the same time, I was in the back of my mind, I was like, "This isn't really what I want to do for the rest of my life." So that drive kind of just drew me more towards, trying to make that transition and knowing that going to school it would better for myself and for my family.
Did you have a family before you went to chiropractic school?
I had me and my wife were married already, but we didn't have our first son until towards the end of chiropractic school. He's 10 months old now. So,
wow, congrats on that, brother. That's a
thank
blessing.
you.
Yes. Can you speak a little bit about that student experience? What were the special moments that you remember while going through chiropractic school? What were the challenging times? We want to be fully transparent. It wasn't all sugar, sugar.
Yeah.
We don't want to sugarcoat it, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Some of the challenging parts were, the program itself. It's a very strenuous program, but at the same time, I had that support of my wife, had the support of some of my professors. Not saying that it was easy, but having those people to go talk to definitely made it easy. And then for me personally, I actually had a 40-minute commute. So I commuted 40 minutes to school, 40 minutes back, not spending that time with my family. And then on top of that, I actually joined the student ambassadors program. So that was even more time away from my family. So that was one thing I really struggled with is not being able to spend that time with my wife. How that extra, the extra husband duties that I need to do. So that was the challenging part with that. But as far as, the camaraderie with classmates, that made it a lot easier. Now pretty much another family right there at school. But I was missing my wife, so.
We make sure we put that in there. Yeah, absolutely. My therapist one day.
Definitely.
Can you speak about the leverage or the the extra sort of perspective that you gained being a massage therapist, working in an office for 4 years before school, and how that benefited you while you were going through the program?
Yeah, it was a very small learning curve when it came to, you know, the palpation skills. I was already pretty good with my hands. Having that practice of massaging for 4 years, you definitely get to know your hands a lot with that. And then also just to help with that is, you know, I feel like for me being an older student, I kind of had, it was more of like being an older student and having a lot to lose if this didn't work out. So that was definitely a huge drive for that and learning curve with chiropractic school.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying you already had bills, you already had a family
Yes.
you were building, and
Yes.
it wasn't just like right out of college, I'm gonna go get some more student loans and just keep going with my education. There was sort of a whole life that you had before you started school. So that was that was
Exactly.
interesting for you to kind of take that with you and build on top of that while you were in school. But I hear you,
Yeah.
there was no failing once you made that decision.
Exactly. There was no plan B. It was plan B was make sure plan A is working.
Cool. Cool. Can you talk a little bit about that? You said it was a student ambassador program that you
Mhm.
joined. What
Yeah.
was that about?
So basically, student ambassador program at Sherman, it's at Sherman College. Basically, what we do is prospective students when they come in, we're basically the first face that they see. We have this thing called Showcase Sherman, where they come for a weekend. You know, we talk a lot about chiropractic. We talk about about the school, but at the same time, we're building those relationships with those students so that it makes sure that their transition is pretty easy when they come as well too. Because a lot of us had that same feeling. We all went to Showcase Sherman, and when we went, we felt that electricity, and we were like, "Hey, this is what we want to do for people when they come in as well." So almost like a big brother program, really for me. That's the way I looked at it. I met students there, and I checked on them when they were going through the application process, and everything like that, answering any questions that they have because they're scared to ask those questions to the admissions office because they're like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. So they were able to be real transparent with us, ask us about scheduling and stuff like that. So it's very rewarding to be that person for those students.
No doubt. And that's what we're doing here right now. We're trying to be that
Mm-hmm.
person for the students that are out there. What message would you give to a student that's just checking out chiropractic as a path for their career, for their life, and they're measuring it against physical therapy or going in a different medical discipline? How would you differentiate it, and what advice would you give to them in regards to some of the questions they might think about or
I tell a lot of students, chiropractic is chiropractic. Chiropractic is really what you make it. But what I would tell students to do is to, shadow as many offices as possible. For one, if you go in, just the same thing for a medical doctor. If you go to one medical doctor, you say, "Oh, that's how all medical doctors are." You're going to be wrong. So they need to shadow different doctors. All doctors, we have the same education, but we have different perspectives on things, and also we have different ways of doing business as well too. So I want them to, get that experience, see different doctors, different types of doctors. We have, people who see children, people who only see athletes. Just basically go and shadow those docs and just find your niche. And when you find your niche, not saying that that's what you're going to go through the entire time wanting to do when you get done, but at least you'll have an idea of, this is what I kind of want to focus on. But at the same time, keep an open mind while you're in school and, just kind of, feeling things out, just kind of finding what works for you.
no doubt. And okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's like the experiential piece. And then educationally speaking, do you think that they really need to go hard with the science classes before chiropractic school? Where's the program gonna challenge them most from an academic standpoint?
This is everybody's one, biochem. Biochemistry for me specifically because I never had a biochemistry class when I was in undergrad, so it was completely new to me. But what I will say is that if there is a subject that you're like, oh, I really don't get that, there's tutors at every school, and don't be ashamed to get a tutor. Tutor does not mean that you're stupid or you don't get it. It's just that they help you see it in a different light. And I will say this: you're gonna need a tutor in chiropractic school.
If
It's not,
it's
no
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
So yeah, so if you just hit the ground running, get ahead of everything, be proactive with a lot of things. You know, talk to your professors because they're here to help. They don't want to see anybody fail because they want to see more great chiropractors in the program. But as far as sciences go, I wouldn't say extra hit it hard, like take extra tech classes or anything like that. But just kind of familiarize yourself with it. If you know a student at the school, kind of ask them how they went through the class. Ask about the professor if you know exactly which chiropractic school you want to go to, and just kind of get a heads up with that. But I wouldn't go out and spend extra money at like a tech school. If you get the requirements for it, if you get in, then that's good enough. But when you get there, definitely hit it hard and get a tutor.
No doubt, no doubt. So it sounds like there's like a camaraderie amongst the students over there. Like you said, it was almost like a second family. Can you speak a little bit about how that relationship, those relationships that you develop with your fellow classmates and the other students in the school really helped you mold yourself into a professional and somebody who's confident in their abilities, chiropractic speaking, but also just feels supported going through that program?
Yeah, I mean it's different. It's because you're in the trenches with those people. You can vent to them, and they know exactly what you're talking about. You can talk about different ideas. You can bounce ideas off of each other, and just kind of pick each other's brains. Because at the same time, this is the time where you're kind of developing, your idea of chiropractic and how to present that to the world. So bouncing those ideas off people, off like-minded people, definitely helps with your development. And then, like I said before, just being able to vent to somebody because this program is strenuous. I don't want to, like you said before, I don't want to sugarcoat it or anything like that. It's definitely hard, but at the same time, like I said, you have that support, so definitely use it. A lot of there are a few students who kind of stay to themselves and everything like that, but I feel like they had the hardest time with chiropractic school because they didn't have anybody to vent to. I have my wife. I talked to her about different things about chiropractic school, but she's not in the classroom. But at the same time, she knows my struggle because I tell her these things. But for somebody who's in the classroom with me at that time, I'm like, I was really mad about that. And it was like, yeah, me too. And I was like, but I can't really express that to my wife. And she definitely understands that as well too. So yeah, having that camaraderie definitely helps you get through the program.
I feel you. And so you being from a background, you said I forgot the name of the place in South Carolina that you're from, but
yeah,
Rock Hill?
Yeah.
Okay, so being from Rock Hill, South Carolina, can you describe a little bit about the culture that you came from and the community that you were raised in and how you're going to carry that into your chiropractic practice?
So Rock Hill is considered a city, but it's definitely a town. Everybody from Rock Hill is like, yeah, it's a city. No, it's a town. Don't let anybody confuse you with that. But it's a close knit community. It's big enough to say that it's a city by population, but to be honest, it's a town. And when it comes to with the education program, by the time you're from kindergarten to 12th grade, you're gonna be with different people every time just because how they do zoning. So I met different types of people, different backgrounds from people. Myself was actually from a lower privileged area at the beginning of my education. So I've seen that side, and I've also seen the side where I guess you can call it privilege. I don't call it privilege because we weren't rich. So, but I guess you could say better living. But coming from, that area, seeing people, parents may have not went to school, may not have gone to college. Being able to see that, and then my parents actually going to college, and seeing that environment as well, and going through with guidance counselors, telling people, yeah, you probably don't want to go to school, but to hear that as a 17 or 18-year-old, you're like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't, and then not being able to have someone say like, no, you can go to college. I feel like that. There's two sides to Rock Hill. There's the side where that happens, and there's the side that you have the uplift. But growing up, there were a lot of mentoring programs. My father was actually part of fraternity, the one I'm a part of now, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and they had like a mentoring program, helping students do college applications, taking them on college tours and stuff like that. So we have that aspect as far as that goes. But I feel like it made me the person I am today. Just being able to meet those different types of people. I feel like Rock Hill is really what they call a melting pot, because you meet there's really rich and there's really poor and then there's middle class, and being able to see that all the way through your education before you branch out and go to college, it was definitely helpful with my growth.
Yeah, no, I mean, I bring it up because our profession of chiropractic has historically lacked diversity, and
Yes.
people that have come from what you would call lower educated backgrounds. It's usually people that have come up in a very affluent community, a good quality education. They have parents and family members that look after them and kind of guide them in the direction. And then when it's time to choose the best profession for them, chiropractic just makes sense because it provides a really good quality lifestyle. You can own your business, you can design your own living, like the own way of doing business, but also your own hours and schedule. That's why I kind of brought that up. But can you speak a little bit to how you see chiropractic as a profession and the importance of diversity within that profession in regards to us moving forward from here?
I feel like chiropractic definitely needs to be more diverse. The time that I was in school, there were only 3 African American professors, and by the time I got done, I've only met 20, all Black chiropractors. So with that being said, so this is what made me, because I was a part of Student African American Black Chiropractic Association, and what made me want to dig into it more and be more a part of it, being more involved, is when I started school, I just decided one day to Google Black chiropractor, and I didn't find any. I didn't find any in my area. I didn't find any really in Greenville. But then when I went through school, I started meeting them. So I'm like, why can't we find these, African American chiropractors? Why can't we find, Hispanic chiropractors? And what happened is that, there aren't any programs to bring them together. It's just basically like they're just fending for themselves whenever they graduate. So I thought, joining that organization, I would either meet different chiropractors, maybe possibly work for those chiropractors, or just build those relationships. And I feel like what happens is that those relationships aren't built. So once you graduate, it's like, I got to fend for myself. I'm in debt. So I need to just do what I need to do. I don't need to, go out to these conferences and everything like that, because I'm in the office 5, 6, 7 days a week. So I felt like, making those connections before finishing school was going to be pertinent, and having those people to kind of talk to after school, and bounce ideas from, and just let everybody know that we're here. But as far as helping the profession grow further, there does need to be more diversity in this profession, because our patients are more diverse now. At the beginning, it was a predominantly white profession, and that was predominantly white patients as well. But now that chiropractic is getting out to the masses, and you have these Hispanic communities, you have these Black communities, you have these Asian communities, like, oh yeah, I think I need chiropractic. But then when they go into the office, they're not being received the way that they should, and it's not receptive. But being able to go into an office and see somebody that looks like you is very important. And it's not even just the color of your skin; it's just their upbringing, their attitude when you walk into the office, being able to relate with them. If you can relate to your doctor, then you're gonna stay with them for a while. That's one thing that when you're searching for primary care physician, you really feel you're interviewing them. You go for your physical, and you're like, I don't like that guy. Let me try another one. So whenever somebody goes through that, not to say that that's a good thing for chiropractic, but when they do that, you want to make sure that you're somebody that they can relate to when it comes to that. So as far as like diversity, I think it is changing. To be honest, since I started first quarter at Sherman, and to now, that number of Black chiropractors that I told you about before has definitely increased a lot. so yes,
That's what's up. Yeah, no, it's crucial. It's crucial. And I think that, we talk about a health equity gap and who are the most low access communities. if somebody comes into my office, I practice in Oakland, California, and
Okay.
I come from a very inner city place in New York. So
Mhm.
if someone comes into my office, yes, I don't necessarily look like them. However, I am able to like speak to them in a way that gives them a sense of comfort and gives them a sense of relaxation and ease. And us
Mhm.
being portal of entry primary care doctors as chiropractors,
Mhm.
I think it's important that a prospective student realizes there's going to be people coming in from all different walks of life, with all different types of needs and concerns. And the better you can relate to those people, the more likely they're going to want to stick with you. Because, right, as chiropractors, we want to develop a relationship. We want to teach them how it's a process. It's not an event. It's different
Mhm.
than medicine. You don't just come and get fixed and then we don't ever see you again. You come, you become somebody that's in our practice, that's somebody that we're familiar with. We get familiar
Mhm.
with working with you, helping you build your health up, helping you go through a healing process. And we hope that we'll continue to take care of you and your family as time goes on in your life. So do
Exactly.
definitely need to get more people with what they call cultural competency, which just
Mhm.
basically means that you know how to relate to people from different backgrounds with different types of belief systems and different types of values. Can you speak a little bit about how someone might go about learning these things if they don't come from that place?
Mhm. That's a great question, actually. I don't know if it's anything. Well, I guess you can learn it because, just like with us, like it's our background. That's just how we were raised, and the experiences that we had, and the type of people that we met. It's really more about meeting those type of people. If you're just thinking about, this, I'm only gonna associate with this social class. I'm only gonna have this amount of people that I associate with. Then you're closed minded, and you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow as a person either. Um, but like I said before, it's all about experience. When you do these, screenings and stuff like that, you don't look for a certain type of person when you go to these screenings. If you get what I'm saying. Don't look for a certain type of person. Make those relationships with somebody that you probably would never talk to, because chiropractic, like you said before, is relationship driven. It's personality driven too. So building those relationships with those people, and showing a great personality to those people, people are going to draw towards you. Even though you may not get that person at that screening, they may know someone else that they're like, oh, I'm looking for a chiropractor. Oh, I met Dr. Man and he was great. Like I want you to go to him. It's all about making those connections. And I'm a big person of 6 degrees of separation. You may not get that one person, but that one person may know someone else that you've been trying to get into your office, or you've been trying to reach that demographic for a while. So you never know. Always when you're meeting somebody, just be open to their background. Um, their experiences as well, and you can learn from them a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really valuable that we get to hear from you at this stage in your
Mhm.
process, in your growth, because you're just graduated, you're about to start your practice, you're fresh into
Mhm.
practice as a professional chiropractor. Can you speak a little bit about what's in your heart right now and the intention that you have going into practice to serve the community, and just kind of how you're going about this unfamiliar territory that
Mhm.
you're stepping into?
Yeah, so it's really fresh. Like I start tomorrow actually, so October 1st, and just what drove me more is I was in clinic March. I literally went to clinic. I checked out, clocked out on Friday. Come Monday, they said, "Oh, we're shutting the schools down." So on my entire patient load, I didn't get to say goodbye to them. I actually built a relationship with a lot of my patients. So not being able to say goodbye, or not being able to say, like, hey, I'm getting ready to transfer you to this person. Let me introduce you to them. It kind of hurt me. So me getting back into, seeing patients, building those relationships, that's what drove me through school. It wasn't science, believe, please believe. It was once I got into clinic and was able to, go out and get patients, go out and talk to the community, build up relationships, because that's the type of person I am, is building relationships. So being able to get back into doing that, it's a totally different area. Right now, I live in a town called Fountain Inn. I'll be working in a town called Taylor, which is about 25, 30 minutes away. So I've never, ate at their Chick-fil-A or went to their Walmart. So this is all new for me. It's, even though it's still in the same kind of area, it's still being able to, tap into a new community and say, hey, I'm here. I can be your chiropractor. And I feel like that's what's really driving me to see patients is that newness, that freshness. It's almost kind of like me entering clinic again, trying to get patients. So that's the most rewarding part of it.
Now, yeah, keep it 100% with us. Keep it a buck. What are you kind of nervous about of starting your practice? If there's got to be some low level of like tension. I'm not saying you're scared or fearful.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm just saying, what's going on with you right now?
Yeah, so the one thing, and this has always been me, just whenever me as a doctor, if I get someone that's older, or if I get somebody that's like, oh, you just fresh out, you sure you know what you're doing? I think that is like my biggest fear of not being able to, articulate well, being able to, make them a believer, I like to say, and to trust me. It's really just gaining those people's trust. And, to be honest, not adjusting for 6 months, I'm not going to pick it right back up, to be honest. Just stopping in March and trying to right back into adjusting again. It's gonna be rough. I know it is for the first couple. To be honest, being transparent, and I know a lot of chiropractors say the same thing. So that's the one thing that I'm kind of nervous about. But I feel okay about it. I just know I need to slow down and just think. Even with talking to patients, just think and use everything that I've used for 3.5 years and all the money that I spent. So
I feel you. But you got time. You don't have to rush into those student loans. Take your time. There's no rush on that. Yeah. Make sure that you keep as much of your money available to you so that you can feel like you got fuel to invest in whatever you need to grow, right? Too many people spend too much money on student loans up front, wanting to get into that, and that can wait. Focus on you first and getting settled and get situated. Is there any specific questions that you have right now as a new graduate, somebody who's about to start your practice? What kinds of questions are you asking of yourself these days?
For me, it's really that question, are you ready? I can say that I'm ready, but like just talking to myself, I don't answer myself, but just talking to myself, just kind of pep talking myself, like, look, this is what you went to school for. This is what you prepared for. You are ready. And just kind of getting out of your nerves. Like you said before, like I talk a good game, like I'm ready and everything like that. But of course, you had those things in the back of your head. You're like, are you ready for this? Are you ready for the patient load? And I think that's the biggest thing is the patient load. Because, for me, I'm building relationships. I'm telling people like, hey, I'm starting on this day, go schedule an appointment. But like, are you actually ready for those patients? Are you prepared for those patients? Are you going to get those patients 100%? And I think that's something that, for the next month, getting used to the office that I'm be working at. I think that's something that I'm going to constantly be doing. With that being said, but a question for you. I heard you say that you're in Oakland. Are you originally from Oakland or?
No, I'm from New York. Oakland's
that's
in
right.
California.
New York. Okay. Culture shock. How was the culture shock from coming from New York to Oakland?
Not much, because I came from Philly to Portland to Oakland. Okay. When you go to a new place, if you're in college and you're moving away from your hometown, you go through a period of adversity where you're having to adapt to a new environment, meet new people, get familiar with your surroundings. I look at my transferring to the school that I went to in the Bay Area, then also starting my own practice right out of school, which is what you're doing. And I commend you for that. It takes a lot of sort of confidence in yourself, but also recognition that if you go to work for another office, yeah, you're going to learn, but you can go work for yourself and learn the same exact things. And you have tons of resources. I want you to use me, and the internet is full of an abundance of different great quality mentorship. But that's why I asked you, do you have any clear questions? My next question for you is like, what is the messaging that you're developing to give to the community that you're opening this practice in? Like, what kind of messaging are you giving?
Really, I haven't thought about that actually. It's just more of, getting out there and just meeting the people. It's more of, which is kind of bad. It's more of like, meet the people and then give them what they need when it happens. So I haven't really thought about the message, but the message is clear that everybody needs chiropractic. And just saying that, it's not just, neck pain, back pain. We talked about that before. It's more of a lifestyle. It's more of, clearing that nervous system of vertebral subluxation and, making sure that your body works at its optimal potential. And being able to verbalize that is going to be hard because, people already have that idea that, oh yeah, my neck hurts, doc, will you help me, kind of thing or whatever. That's cool to get them in the door, but of course, once they get in, continue to educate them on, that it's more than just that, and that, you need it, and not even just you, your family needs it, your friends need it. Get the word out to other people.
Mm-hmm. I've been seeing some of the marketing that you've been putting out online, and you're definitely speaking about pediatrics. You're talking about kids and also pregnant women, and I think you were talking maybe about athletes too. And then you're putting some hip hop to it, and you're putting some music to it. Can you speak a little bit about the process of like trying to put together chiropractic messages that are reaching the people that you want to reach?
Yeah, I'm basically just giving people me. I'm not trying to give them something that, a facade or behind a curtain, and then they open the curtain like, oh, this is the doctor that I came to see. Like, no, I want to give them 100% authenticity. This is who I am. I'm a doctor, but I also love rap and I love hip hop, and I know that you love hip hop too. So being able to, grab them by that, hearing it in the background, like, oh yeah, I know that song. Yeah, wow, he knows that hip hop song, whatever. And I try, and then last time I actually, for the pediatric one, I used the kid bop version of it. So I know parents listen to kids bop all the time. So they're like, oh, I like that song, but I like the kids bop version of it. Just grabbing their attention, making chiropractic fun. Because a lot of times, people think health is kind of boring or whatever. Like, oh, I got to go to the doctor. I got to do this. I'm just speaking on my community. Just saying like, oh, it's just another chore. But I want them to kind of like, take chiropractic as fun. It's something that they love to do. And not just that they love to do it, but, me helping them get back to doing the things that they love to do that they weren't being able to do because of the complaint that they came in with. And then also with, reaching, pregnant women and, children, that just kind of hits home to me because, my wife, when she was pregnant, I saw her in the clinic. And then, my son, same thing. He was chiro baby from day one. So me showing them that, not just because I'm a chiropractor, because I know what chiropractic can do. And knock on wood, the entire first year did not have one ear infection. So I preach that all the time. I had a niece who had at least 6, and then she ended up with tubes in her ear. But at the time I wasn't in clinic, so I couldn't say like, oh, you can come to clinic. Just my family didn't trust going to another chiropractor that I recommended. But being able to be that chiropractor for my family and saying like, hey, you can just come to me and they trust me, is going to be definitely rewarding. But going back to just reaching demographics that just hit home to me, really, the type of people that I want to see, which is pretty much everybody. But at the same time, my background and my lifestyle definitely is who my target audience is.
Okay. And then last, I appreciate all this transparency because this is just you and what's going on with you right now today in this moment. You talking about seeing a baby at birth might sound wild to a prospective student, but the chiropractic idea or principle is that the body needs no help. It just needs no interference. And birth trauma is oftentimes one of the first ways that a child can become vertebrally subluxated, in their spine when there's that torsion and that torque. And can you speak a little bit about why your kid or your baby got adjusted from day one? Because as a college student, me hearing that, I need to understand why that is, right? Like you can't just say something like that and not explain like what's behind that.
Yeah. Just okay. So for me is me watching birthing videos before we had our son, and then the actual birth. He was a C-section baby, and it was emergency C-section. And the way, I saw how they grabbed him. I was like, yeah, he probably needs to get checked. Going through school, you're like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna let that happen to my child, or I'm not gonna let that happen. But when it does, you're like, what are you gonna do when it does happen? Are you just gonna be like, oh, I feel safe. I feel safe. I feel like he's okay. Like, why not check him? Why not get him checked for vertebral solicitation? Because you never know. I mean, well, I did know, but but was it gonna hurt for you to get them checked? And just being able to like verbalize that to people and be able to explain to them how the actual adjustment goes. Because like you said, you seeing an adjustment on the internet of an adult, and you're like, oh, you're not getting ready to do that to my kid. And you're like, no, that's not how that adjustment goes. And to be able to like, say I even had my son adjusted or whatever, so I trust it. So, and being able to say like, it's gentle, it's not what you think that the adjustment is going to be, and being able to educate people on that, because people have an idea of chiropractic in their head before they even meet you. So you to be able to change that perspective, good or bad, is good. Even if that perspective is good, and they talk to you, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that, and being able to make their perspective even better is our job every day.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight, giving us some insight, showing us really what's going on in the mind of a new graduate, someone that had a lot of life experience right before chiropractic school. It's not like you just got out of university, you had a life beforehand. I want to send a message out that chiropractic school is not like just for college students that majored in pre-med and didn't get into medical school or physical therapy school and want to go to chiropractic school because it's easier to get in. It was something that you came to and made sense to you, and you wanted to make that investment in yourself. Can you speak a little bit really quickly on the mindset of making that really big investment to go to graduate school and study chiropractic, and like kind of what came up for you when you were making that decision?
So I made that decision based on, like I said before, just I could not see myself doing what I was doing for the rest of my life. And for you to kind of realize that, and being able to, make that sacrifice, and because it is a huge sacrifice, 3.5 years of no sleep and studying forever. It's definitely a huge sacrifice. But at the same time, talking to people who are in the profession, who went through the same thing you went through, and, seeing them successful and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's what helps you throughout the program, is always keeping an eye on that light at the end of the tunnel. It may be dim and you may not be able to see it clearly, but it's definitely there. I think for me, just making that step is because, me, I'm a huge family man, and, growing up, I always said, I'm gonna marry a wife, I'm gonna have kids, and I'm gonna make sure that they're set up for life. And that's what I'm trying to do with chiropractic. Not to say that, I'm trying to be lucrative with chiropractic. It does happen, but I'm talking about quality of life. Being able to, like you said before, make that schedule, being able to, go to your kids' football games, basketball games, and stuff like that, still being a part of their life, but at the same time providing for them. I knew that that's what chiropractic would bring for my family. And then also being able to, be a chiropractor, and, my son may say, I want to be a chiropractor, like we just talked about, because, my dad wasn't a chiropractor, and me and him had that conversation. He said the profession that he went into, I couldn't really leave you anything for you to kind of set yourself up for. So being able to be in a profession that I can do that, it can be, a chiropractic office, and then when I'm ready to retire, he can just take over. Just having that avenue. I'm not saying that he has to be a chiropractor, but still giving him that option that he can do that is what is really big to me. And, generational wealth. And like I tell people, generational wealth isn't about riches, it's about money. It's about that quality of life, and wealth is, how you're living and how you feel. And being able to, set that up for my family is vital.
That's major. That's major. Thank you for having that vision. Man, good luck with everything tomorrow. Appreciate you providing that perspective for the prospective student. If anyone has a comment or a question, please drop it in the section below. We're here for you. We're available. We just want to make this profession better for the next generation. That's what we're doing here right now. If someone hears this message, there's so much quality, they might need to hear it again. but just recognize we just regular people that made this decision to go on this path, become chiropractors. We didn't grow up with chiropractic. We found it, and we're happy we found it. I'm 7 years into professional practice, 10 years into this path, and I couldn't be happier about the choice I made. Sounds like you're on fire. You're very passionate about it. You're still happy about this path, this decision that you made?
Most definitely. I'm like ready in the morning, so I'm so ready.
Dope.
Definitely fired up.
All right. Well, thank you, Charles. Any last comments or thoughts?
Just like you said before, if anybody has any questions, I'm an open book. My information, I can give it to you. Charles Thomas Tucker III on Facebook, Instagram, Dr. the Chiro Dad. That's my new tag, the Chiro Dad. Just a new persona that I have. Just any questions that you have, you guys can always reach out. Like you said, me being a fresh graduate, I'm still, I still smell the burning of my brain from studying for boards. So I'm with you. So if you try to make a decision, just I'm always open book. Just reach out to me if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time. Most definitely.
All right. Thank you.